Class is now in session for the new and improved Jack J. Valenti School of Communications. Plans for reconstruction first started in 2009 with a generous donation of Lance Funston and the fundraising campaign of Welcome Wilson Sr. But wait, why the generous donation? I spoke to Dr. Olson. She told us a little bit more about how the donation came to be.
It started with Welcome Wilson Sr., who at the time was on the Board of Regents, and he was a close personal friend of Jack Valenti. And it was after Jack Valenti passed away in '07, and I think it was the end of '07, maybe the beginning of '08, where he just dropped into the office one Friday afternoon. And I didn't know who he was. I saw on his business card he was on the Board of Regents, and he was interested in the Daily Cougar because he had sold advertising for the Daily Cougar when he was here. I believe it was in the '40s. So he came up with the idea of naming the school after Jack Valenti. And then I guess once he toured the building and saw the condition of things, he was interested in doing some fundraising for us and helping the building to look better, particularly if it was going to have his friend's name on it. And then he also was in contact with our major donor, Lance Funston. And Lance is a graduate of our program. He also worked for Welcome Wilson Sr. He also knew Jack Valenti, and Jack Valenti helped him get into the Harvard Business School. So those are all the ties that kind of came together, and when Lance Funston visited us, I think it was in the summer of '08, and we gave a tour through when we were in the studio, and he said, well, what do you need? And I said, well, a larger studio and maybe a second studio, and a studio with a higher ceiling, if you remember what the previous one was. And that's sort of where it all started. So our focus was mainly on the media production area and then also the entryway, the front of the building, because the building did not communicate in any way who we are or what we do.
The $3.6 million project has added 3,300 square feet to the building, including a new and larger production studio. It also features 2 HD editing suites, 2 large classrooms, a control room where students learn to operate the equipment necessary to run a news show, and a new administration suite where students can talk to their advisors about their educational goals.
Our new studio is 2,000 square feet. Our control room here that we're doing this interview in is large enough to get an entire lab section into. If you remember the old facility, getting 5 people into the control room was a problem. It was too crowded. Now you can get an entire lab section in and demonstrate or operate. And that's a huge improvement. The larger studio gives us more flexibility for more students. And when we finish Studio B, which will hopefully be soon, there'll be even more flexibility. More advanced students can work in the larger studio, put up a set or 2 or 3 sets, and shoot on those sets for days or weeks, while TV1 students or less advanced students operate in the smaller studio.
A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held in October 2011 to commemorate the generous donations and the grand opening of the Lance Funston Learning Center. Guests included Lance Funston, Welcome Wilson Sr. and Jr., Jack J. Valenti's sister and family members, and many other special guests. These special guests got the opportunity to tour the new facilities, mingle with colleagues, and participate in the ribbon-cutting ceremony.
I really like it. It's different from PBS than what it was before. I feel like it's more like community-based. Like when you hang out here, it's people that you know.
I personally like it. It's nice to not be able to have to cross the street in order to get to your place. It's good to call someplace your own. So I like it.
The improvements in the comm school have definitely benefited the students with the availability of classes and the access to the rooms to get their projects going. That's why I think it's been the best benefits for it.
Thanks to the generous donations and hard work and dedication from countless of people, the Jack J. Valenti School of Communications Lance Funston Learning Center is open for endless opportunities. For Video Workshop, I'm Jacqueline Moreno.